Hello, hello, my friends. It is Aldo. And welcome back to the Knights of the Nerd Republic. You know what to do, and stay profitable.
The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
On which planet did
I
Luke
can tell
Skywalker
you everything
and Ben Solo
about this planet,
confront the Knights of Ren in
except
the
its
second
motherfucking name.
Buy merch. Your winner, by way of technical knockout.
We have some beautiful musicians.
I am the king. I am the reigning champion. I will always be above you. I am bigger than you. I am wiser than you. I am stronger than you. I am better than you. I am God.
Hi, I'm Jared, the Trivia Loser Jedi.
And I'm Scooter.
And we're here to tell you that we aren't that great at trivia, and I mean we're downright poo-poo at it. Yeah, ever since then I've been dogging Scotty to step back in the ring with me. No questions about El Frono will be asked, and it'll be a good time this April. Now I have this like imaginary rivalry with you in my fucking head, where it's like, I want J-Ro!
Jared, you lost to me in trivia. You're a loser. You're a loser. I will not. You lost to me in trivia.
Jared lost to me in trivia. That charlatan friend, mind you, who has been ducking me and running from me for years now.
Your lust for J-Ro will destroy you.
And you will learn to rue the day you underestimated the power of the Bi Republic.
Is this your king? Is this your king?
Think about, the things you applied to content creating and the things that you maybe have held, you hold to a high standard that people also love. And there's that one little dark spot in all of this. And you're like, man, I can't believe that I've gotten this far and just being a part of a bigger community. But there's this one little black spot in this beautiful Monet of a painting. And it's just the fact that I kicked your ass in trivia. Literally nothing makes me happier.
Good morning, class, or hello there. This is the Star Wars show. Let's get that light a little further back there. Okay, there we go. Cool. Hello there, and welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic, the show your favorite nerds talk all things about the galaxy far, far away. And oh boy, do we have a doozy for you guys this week. Bad Batch Season 2 finale, Mando Chapter 21, The Pirate, a fantastic episode, one that I cannot wait to dive into and talk about, especially with what's going on with our recent cult joinee, Bo-Katan Kryze, as well as talk about the finale to Season 2 of The Bad Batch, which was wild. And yes, it is my fault. I'm sorry to all the tech stands. But I am not alone, of course. I am joined by the one-eyed knight, the Italian stallion, the lore keeper, Mr. Connor Ciccati.
What's up?
And he is not the only person who has to deal with me tonight and has to be seen on camera with the man who killed Tech. We are also joined by
that's your
our
other
intern.
dark spot in this
What?
beautiful. That's your other dark spot in this beautiful Monet.
Oh no, that's my bright spot. I'm just gonna lean into it. I've
Your
already
bright-
had a couple people.
Your
I've
bright
had
spot
Eli.
better be in like 11 days.
I've had Andrew just all be like, "Yeah, this is your fault." I'm kidding. I
Hopefully,
actually.
your bright spot is in like 11 days in NOLA.
Oh, absolutely. That's the end game right there. Our end game. No, I will say I am joking. I was stunned by what happened in the part 1 of the finale, but we'll get to all that. But like I said, Connor is not alone. We have our new intern. He's new here. It's Case and Brehan.
What is up, everyone?
Hells yeah. But yeah, like I said, quick bits of housekeeping. When you are seeing this, it'll be April 1st, and that is no joke from us. The newest episode of the Versus series is out as of the time you are watching this, which is Kanan Jarrus versus Reva. Go check that one out. Very proud of how that turned out. Yeah, it was a really fun matchup to talk about. Gave me an excuse to just rewatch some key episodes of Rebels, which came in handy for this week of Mando.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, go check that out. It's the $5 tier and up. You get access to the Versus series, which is upward or just about 30 episodes of bonus content that are all just under or above 2 hours each. So I highly recommend you check it out if you like what you see in here. Just get a ton of bonus content. I've also been making a point to make sure that our patrons get early access to episodes if we record them with enough lead time. Typically, especially when we're doing news roundups, I try to post them like right after we're done recording to make sure that what we're putting out is fresh when it comes to news and stuff like that. However, sometimes I will just kind of give it a day to breathe when I know that something else is coming out. So patrons will get a lot of episodes early when I can help it, at least, such as tomorrow at time of record. Today, when you're hearing this, we're planning on recording our Bad Batch Season 2 review with our special guest Eli from Star Wars in a Galaxy, as well as Epic Confrontations. So I'm going to try to have that out for patrons early if I can, because that's going to come out during the week while we're in NOLA, as well as a movie review for the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Again, going to try to get that up to patrons first, and that'll be at the $10 tier. So not only will you get early access to episodes when we can get them to you, you also get a shout out at the end of every episode. So go check out the Patreon while we're at it. And again, you guys have seen the promo in every episode we have put out over the last month, but April 10th, live on the Bombadcast YouTube channel, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I will face off against Scotty J-Ro in the ultimate battle of revenge and honor and putting that lowdown son of a bitch right where he belongs. So be tuned in for that, for the fateful rematch. I'm sure we're going to end up talking about it a good bit tomorrow when we have Eli on. As well as all 3 of his jokes about questions I have missed. So check all of that out. I've talked about it before. It's been out for a minute, but Ionized Bastards, all 7 episodes out now. Go check that out on the All Remaining Systems YouTube channel. Very proud of that Star Wars RPG Real Play show. At some point in the next couple months, we're going to be working on getting season 2 off the ground, which I'm very excited for. We are officially making the switch to SW5E, which basically means that we're going to be playing the adapted version of Dungeons and Dragons, but for Star Wars, which is really exciting. Originally, we used Force and Destiny, just the Edge of the Empire model as a whole, which is fun, but it is a little less user friendly. And we want to be able to roll our D20s and stuff for lightsabers. So all remaining systems, Ionized Bastards, Epic Confrontations, live rematch on the Bombadcast YouTube channel, April 10th. Patreon, give us money. And speak
Give me $1.
Money.
I was about to do it. Give me $1.
Oh, you were about to do it. I have the power.
Give me $1.
Only one man is allowed to say it, and it's him. Only our lovely hobo performer.
Yes.
But speaking of giving us money, you guys know the drill by now. SundaysBloodyMary.com has the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the galaxy, including their 3-time award-winning spicy Caesar mix, their mild, their traditional mix. What'd you say?
3-time.
3 times. They also have, if you're feeling naughty, they got your pickled dilly beans, award-winning pickled dilly beans, okra, asparagus, and rim salt for your garnish needs, as well as some fun Bloody Mary themed merch. So go on over to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. Use code TNAP, TNAP at checkout, and you get 10% off your order, and you help out your favorite nerds while you do it. So, just because this week is a little girthier on the side of the Bad Batch, and also they had their finale, I figured we'd save them for last and jump right into this week's episode of The Mandalorian, switch things up a little bit, especially since starting next time we record, I was about to say next week, but we won't be recording next week. Oh, that's another thing. Bombad cast next week, like Bombad proper on Thursday, is going to be a massive in-person live episode. Me, Trey Mitchell, Bill Sheehy, Michael McCoy. Did I say me already? Who am I missing? Well, Jerry and Scotty. Obviously, it's their show.
I was about to say the son of a bitch himself.
Yeah, that motherfucker, Scotty J-Ro. Yeah, that is his name for Epic Confrontation. Scotty, that motherfucker, J-Ro. It's like that meme I love so much where it's like the little gnome. It's like, I am the motherfucker. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do either of you?
I haven't seen that in a hot minute, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think about it every so often, and I Google motherfucker gnome, and I'm just scrolling Google images until I find it. It's my favorite thing.
You're like,
I am the motherfucker. But yeah, no. So there's going to be a big old live episode to talk about this upcoming week's Mandalorian. I am so excited for that. It is going to be off the rails. It is going to be an absolute shit show. We're all going to be sat on what I call the Bombad casting couch, while Jerry and Scotty are spread out across the room. I didn't feel comfortable making that joke in public, but I did. Oh well.
That's funny.
I know it's a little raunchier than our normal fare around here today. It is TNAP after dark. It is a quarter, or it's about 20 to 10 at time of record. So we're all a little slap happy here coming off of work. But anyway, check that out next week as well. I think I'm done with housekeeping now. And if I'm not plugging anybody else's shit. I've done enough of that already. I say that like I'm not in all of those things I'm plugging. Right. Mando this week, absolutely incredible. Connor,
Yes.
I'm gonna throw to you first, buddy. Give us your overall thoughts in
Awesome.
more than a sentence. In more than a sentence.
I gotta pull up because I thought we were gonna talk Bad Batch first. I was like, oh, I'll pull up my Bad Batch notes.
Yeah, sorry, I
me.
literally made that decision in the middle of talking. I was like, let's start with Mando.
I mean, the fact that we see Grief, it was really cool seeing Grief Karga sort of try to still assert not really assert, but sort of maintain his authority, where these pirates are like, you're not this guy. You're somebody else that we know. Like you're somebody else that we know and love and kind of hate also. Like you're not this magistrate.
You're not him.
Yeah, you're not him. He is him. The fact that
turns out Grief Karga.
Cut that dog at 12.
Absolutely.
Just the action sequences there, especially, were really cool. The fact that Din and Paz, kind of surprisingly, were like, "Yo, let's go help these guys." That was really interesting, seeing the Mandalorians sort of go outside of their world and realize, like, what, maybe we could be a force for good. Maybe. What else? Oh, the fact that the New Republic is still kind of like still full of bureaucratic red tape.
It's so disappointing.
It's
that
just
part
like,
just
dude,
really, really fucked me off. Like, I was happy to see. I keep forgetting his name from SNL.
Tim Meadows.
Tim
I just call
Meadows.
him
Thank
Tim
you.
Meadows. Yeah.
I always
love
lose
Tim
it.
Meadows. I was so
He's
happy
great.
to see him in Star Wars.
Ladies man.
The first thing I know him from is Benchwarmers.
Oh, okay.
I was so hoping Connor was gonna say Mean Girls.
I was hoping one of you motherfuckers was gonna say the Even Stevens movie.
I don't
He's
know
in
if
the
I've seen
Even
that.
Stevens movie.
Yeah, dude.
You're
He's like, I think
shitting
he's
me.
like I think he's like the dude that like when they get to the island or whatever, I think he's like the dude on the island, if I'm not mistaken.
amazing.
God, it's been a stone's age since I've seen the Even Stevens
But
movie.
yeah, no, him and Mean Girls was phenomenal. Are you kidding me? Tim Meadows is
Okay,
just
good.
a
I was
class
hoping
act.
Connor has seen Mean Girls.
Dude, I need to rewatch that movie. It's been too
Yes, you
long.
do.
But seeing Tim Meadows in as a New Republic like officer, well, not really, like a paper pusher almost.
It is him.
Yeah.
Was also really cool, and like the role fits him really well. Like Scotty said when I guested on Bombadcast 2 nights ago on Thursday. That role really fits him because it's like a Jon Favreau run show. Because like Scotty said, like you can't, it wouldn't work in Andor. Like his role would not work in Andor. To Scotty at least, and I kind of agree with him because Tim Meadows. Granted, I only have ever seen him in like comedic type roles. So like that's my base of knowledge for him. So like I don't know. He's probably killed it with like dramatic roles. But like because my knowledge of him is all like comedy and whatnot, him being like him doing his thing in Mando this episode fit really well with him. And just it really goes into that sort of overall tapestry of just how the New Republic is just kind of like they're kind of lackadaisical, man. This ain't the rebellion, much to its detriment.
Yeah, it's just kind of jumping right into like the New Republic stuff. I'm glad you brought it up.
Obviously.
Oh, of course, the Zeb stuff. With the New Republic stuff, you know, it is a really interesting depiction. You know what I think what's so disappointing for me, and I use disappointing kind of with an asterisk next to it, but for me, what's so disappointing about the depiction of the New Republic here is that there is a malaise to them that, you know, we retroactively know what will become of the New Republic. We know that the New Republic will fall, and we know that the New Republic will fall because it will fail to act to stop the First Order before it can, you know, annihilate the galaxy and take it over. And in that, like, in that lack of action, you have to find cause for it. And I think it creates a really interesting tragedy that, you know, yes, there's all that red tape. Yes, there's all of those things that hold the New Republic back as a government, but it is born out of this desire to move on from the fight. And it is admirable in many ways to see that the New Republic is so hell-bent on not being militarized anymore and not like constantly fighting. And there's honor to that, and there's something noble there. But I'm also kind of unnerved by how quick they are to do the whole, yeah, well, they're not a member world, so hands are kind of tied. Like, this is the same behavior and mindset that resulted in the slave trade being alive and well on Tatooine. And it's disheartening, you know. It's really disappointing in the same way that you see with the amnesty program earlier this season. That so many of these Imperial officers are still being treated as, you know, machines. They're still being treated like droids. You know, they have numbers, not names. Just follow your orders. And then obviously we see what Elliot Kane does to Pershing with the Mind Flayer. Sorry about that, Connor.
I can't really. My memory. I have trouble remembering even simple things.
Oh, you poor thing. But
that was a Rogue One quote.
You know, yeah, that was funny. Go get some Bodhi Rook. Gullet will know the truth. So yeah, it's just the New Republic is really complicated.
Lose one's mind.
One tends to lose one's mind. But yeah, there's so much to unpack about the New Republic now, and like every time we see them, I'm a little more disappointed and a little more uncomfortable and a little more frustrated. And, you know, part of that is in like a meta context of like, I don't want the DJs to be right. I don't want I so badly do not want the people who are saying, "Oh, like the space Nazis and the Republic are equally bad." I want there to be like, "No, the New Republic and the space Nazis both suck. They just suck in very different ways, and one sucks way worse." And I don't know, it's kind of uncozy seeing like the exact way that the good guys suck right now. And even like the people who are right are, like the moment between Carson Teva and Elliot Kane was really striking, where they kind of start jawing at each other. Because yes, Carson Teva is right. Elliot Kane is still a devout Imperial, and maybe he just like can smell it on her, and his spider sense is working in a way. But if she weren't, what he said was deeply fucked up.
Oh,
it goes against what the New Republic and the Rebellion should stand for. So like that's also like a really complex thing to unpack.
What is he say again? I forget.
I forget what he said, but he like just
he's
straight
basically
up was
like, you can't fool me. I can tell you're still an Imperial. But the way he says it, it carries so much weight that he's basically painting the entirety of the Amnesty Corps like that. And it's really unfair. Because I do think there are a lot of people we see throughout canon. There are a lot of people who want nothing more than to leave their time with the Galactic Empire behind them and do better and do more to help the galaxy. And then you have some guy like Carson fucking Teva, who seems like a war hawk to anybody else in the room. Just be like, "Hey, you fucking imp, get out of our office." Like it's unfair. It's unfair. And it's only by the grace of us as the audience knowing that Elliot Kane is still, tugging on her uniform because it doesn't fit right. And she's trying to like lobotomize Pershing, that we know that he's right. But that's only because we're the audience. And if he were wrong, what he said was fucked up. Like, he just said that. He said that in front of a commanding officer. Like, he felt so comfortable to pop off at Elliot Kane. And again, he was right.
Colonel Tuttle, to be exact.
Colonel Tuttle, thank you.
Yeah.
He knew he could pop off to her. He was right, but he doesn't know that he's right.
Exactly, yeah.
He's just being a prick.
Right.
And that goes a long way to make the Carson Tevas in the room who are like, "Hey, there's a problem. The Empire is not gone. We want to pretend that the Battle of Jakku and the Battle of Endor ended the Galactic Civil War. It did not. It is still going on between the Imperial Remnant and the First Order that they don't know that is brewing. This war is not fucking over." And as correct as he is to say that, the moment he starts jawing at Elliot Kane like that, he devalues everything he said before that. Because he seems like a war hawk. He seems like somebody who can't let this conflict be over. Even though his heart's in the right place.
Right.
Like as uncomfortable, and I'm going to keep using that word, as uncomfortable as the convert and then some of the stuff here about the New Republic and the pirate makes me, it does really make the New Republic feel a lot realer, that like I struggled for a while. Connor remembers this with my whole, like, I don't know if this narrative decision didn't work for me or if it's making me uncomfortable.
Right.
And that's the
I
point.
remember you talking about that.
Yeah, we talked about it off air. That's right. I do think I'm starting to lean towards it does work and it is intentionally making me uncomfortable, but motherfucker, does it make me uncomfy?
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely. Like you see like the little things that are going on behind the scenes, like with the amnesty program and all that stuff. Where like most of those people are actually like, "Hey, like we don't care who it is, like we're glad to be away from the Empire." Like then like they sit there and they reminisce in the Pershing episode, but like doesn't mean they're all still Imperials. But like a lot, like Elliot Kane is like 100% issue mind flayed dude, like you said. So like, we know they don't know yet, but we know
exactly. Teva thinks he
Wait,
knows.
As
thinks he knows.
Teva thinks he knows.
As a student of history, I'm kind of on Teva's side.
Well, yes, of course. Well, and I mean, like, it's like, and I've made this comparison before, like the day they called the 2020 election. And there were all those videos of people like hanging on street lights, partying, dancing, and singing in New York and Philly and LA, all across the country, even across the world, celebrating. I kept seeing people make jokes like, this looks like the end of Return of the Jedi. And it was like, yes, it does. I would like for you all to keep in mind what happens in the next movie. I would like for all of you to remember that all of the same villains are going to come back and they're going to be worse.
Donald
like,
Trump.
and yeah, huh?
Donald the Trump.
The Trump Eternal.
Well,
the Mega Eternal.
No.
Well, unless New York has anything to say.
I've been waiting a very long time. Yes, people have said it's a long time. It's a long time. Exegol is a very, very hidden place. Sorry.
Well, not in New York.
Raid to Sanctimonious. Anyway, Meatball Run. I'm sorry. We need to move on. Listen, this was going to be the biggest problem about bringing Kaysen onto this podcast.
Oh man,
is that
I laugh and then it encourages him.
Yeah. Every time, for as long as Kaysen and I have known each other, I will do a stupid bit. I will get a reaction out of Kaysen, and no matter how badly I know the conversation needs to move forward, I will keep running back and like pushing that button until Kaysen stops laughing at me.
Listen, man, New York. The one time I'm like kind of cool with New York.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Oh, when they were like. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when they were like, fuck Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like the one time.
Yeah.
Other than that, can't. This state's probably really cool. This city, no.
I love how out of nowhere in the middle of this Mandalorian review, Connor's like, oh, by the way, fuck New York City as a whole.
I just, the vibes aren't there for me.
He's a Death Row Records kind of guy,
Yeah.
Connor was like, I'm on Pac's side all day. But anyway, Kaysen, your overall thoughts on the episode now that we've gotten a lot of the New Republic conversation taken care of.
The episode as a whole obviously was awesome. Okay, so first of all, like did we say Zeb?
Yes, but we should talk more.
Okay, just making sure. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I figured we'd end up circling back to the Gara Zebarellius of it all.
Yes.
Holy shit,
dude, he looked so good. He looked so good. Like I heard the voice and I was like, and then it went to hit like it panned over and I was like, is that?
I heard I heard the voice and I saw it and I'm like, fucking Zeb.
Yeah, and dude, the fact that he looks that good in live action is absolutely insane, and I love it so much.
Genuinely, really happy because
same.
So I don't want to. We could do an entire episode. We could do like half an episode really on this.
Right.
The whole live action to animation to live action and live action to animation translations.
Right.
For me, at least, outside of this, the animation to live action stuff for characters, I think it could be better. It's not terrible, but I feel like it could be better because Grand Quizzy, I chalk that up more to Rupert Friend's physicality and shape more than anything.
I was on Comic Book Cast this week, and there was accidentally a 10-minute tangent about Rupert Friend's Grand Inquisitor. That's just on his voice alone. I know that has nothing to do with this conversation. I just need to hello, third sister. That should change.
It's so good. I thought he still looked pretty good. Besides that, Cad Bane for me is still kind of
yeah. I feel like Cad Bane could have been better.
The mouth is great. The voice is great. Everything with the face,
Yeah.
And then Zeb was just like, all right, I'll just blow these fuckers out of the water.
Yeah, it's like for some reason, like the humanoid, like the different species that are like humanoid species, like I feel like a lot of them because they were in the movies originally, like back in the day, they tried. I feel like I don't know if they do it on purpose, but it seems like they keep them pretty close to what they looked like then. I don't know if it's just for continuity or what. But like obviously like costuming and technology and effects makeup and all that stuff have improved over the past almost 50 years since the OG movie came out. But like a lot of the humanoid species still have like the same look to them as they did like in the original trilogy and then like through the prequels and everything. And like I kind of like that. But like with bringing Zeb in, I knew that there were like
do
hints
a
at it.
Lasat in the 80s.
Yeah,
you
I
couldn't
was
do a
like,
Lasat in the 80s. I don't think you could do a Lasat in 2005.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
No,
and like
not at all.
Like I know that there was like with, especially with like the Ahsoka series coming out, they're like hinting at like the Rebels cast returning because that's where Ahsoka's story goes next after that. And I knew that it was coming, and I was like, okay, what are these motherfuckers gonna look like? Because like Hera, they can do basically like they did Ahsoka, where they got like a fucking hat with some tentacles on it.
We've
like,
seen
that'll be fine.
How many Twi'leks have we seen? Okay, you're just green. Okay, move on.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. But
Sabine,
then
it's just Natasha Liu.
It's another Mando. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then like you think about Zeb, and you're like, how in the Sam hell are they gonna pull that off?
Well, and what's really funny with that, like to echo a point that friend of the show Alden Diaz made off air, I'm sure he's probably going to bring it up in his episode of the Mando Diaries, where he was like, the funniest thing about Zeb showing up before any of the other core Rebels characters is that everybody who was having the exact conversations you're talking about, Kaysen, and Filoni and Favs and company just kind of going, yeah, we're going to start with the hardest one.
Yeah.
And put our like purple Lasat balls right on the table. Just, with the bow rifle and everything. But yeah, no, he looked great. I love seeing him in his little flight suit.
Yeah, the flight suit was great.
Little man in uniform.
And his son on Instagram said that he did the facial capture too.
Steve Bloom did.
Steve Bloom did.
Cool.
That's cool.
That's super cool.
Really cool. I did see in our group chat like discussions about like mocap versus facial, like type stuff. But
and it really just goes back to the point of like, I do wish Vanessa Marshall was portraying Hera, because like you can do it with Steve Bloom with Zeb, but like also Zeb is I don't know if you could make a Lasat prosthetically. Like I feel like that would be super difficult.
Yeah. A practical Lasat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a little hard to pull off. That might be. Yeah, that kind of goes to the point I was making with the, it's you're the I don't think you can make a Lasat in the 80s. But no. Yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. It was really cool seeing him. It was cool seeing that Zeb is still very much a part of the New Republic government. Like it's obviously still it's Marshall Wing.
And that was a cameo. That is a
cameo. That is a cameo. I love that we have the Zeb cameo now, because from now on, every time somebody calls something a cameo, as cool as it was to see Zeb, as cool as that was, as daring as a choice as that was, what I'm really excited to do now is every time somebody calls Luke or Ahsoka or Boba Fett or Cobb Vanth a cameo from now on, that we can be like, okay, let's compare these two scenes. Did you notice how there's an episode, like an entire episode about this character?
Right.
Did you notice how this character like really moved the plot along? Did you notice how this character has a whole fucking TV show now? Did you notice how this character saved our main characters?
You want to see me do it again?
Okay, what did Zeb do? Zeb showed up. That's the fucking difference. Just I'm so glad that there's like a true actual cameo now for the audience. It just goes, we have to spoon feed Star
Right.
Wars Twitter and we have to spoon feed Star Wars TikTok to just understand basic terminology. But yeah, no, Zeb was fantastic, absolutely hilarious. I love that there is a shot in this of Dave Filoni from the back wearing his cowboy hat, looking at live action Zeb.
Yeah,
it's so insane to think.
It's
about.
great.
It's ridiculous. It is absolutely
and then
ridiculous.
it was the three people. There was Dave and the two others that
Rick and
the Rebel
Deborah.
pilots. Yeah, they all three of them were in the scene.
Oh, were they? I didn't notice.
That was all I wanted to say.
I didn't notice Rick and
I think
Deborah
all
Chow.
three of them were sitting at the bar. If I'm not mistaken.
Deborah was. I noticed Deborah because like her face was facing like towards the camera, so she was pretty easy. And I think Rick was more towards the side.
That's
or like
really
he
cool.
was facing like. Deborah was here. Deborah was basically this, and I think Rick was more like towards the side, so you couldn't really see him out, and like the lighting wasn't really on him.
Okay.
But like I could kind of, but like I knew there was a figure next to Deborah, so I was like, okay, that's probably Rick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
That's
the
awesome.
cowboy hat is the cowboy hat man is the cowboy hat man.
Yeah, I mean it's hard not to notice the cowboy hat. But moving on to like the Mandalorian plot here though. Connor, you alluded to it earlier. I absolutely loved like kind of like I don't even want to say like the twist, but kind of like the bait and switch we get with Paz Vizsla's speech.
Yes.
Like he starts with the whole like, like why should we lay down our lives again? And in the back of my mind, I'm like, hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. It's like it is the way of the Mandalorian because we are Mandalorians. I'm like, all right, talk your shit, Paz.
Right.
Paz Vizsla is on one. But no, I do really like
Paz Vizsla accidentally based.
Paz Vizsla accidentally based. No, I really do like that pivot for Paz. Try saying that 10 times fast. It goes to show that Paz like really does mean what he's saying. And that it is comforting, especially kind of starting to get an idea as to what's happening with the armor, which we'll talk about more here in a second. Seeing Paz like really put his money where his mouth is as a Mandalorian, as a leader in that covert, and him be willing to lay down his life in the way that he was, in that way, and seeing them all kind of agree, like, we are going to help because we can, because we should, and also like seeing the plot of land that Grief Karga offered them come back up and within the story, and not just be another opportunity for Din to settle down, but an opportunity for him to help his whole community settle down, which I think is really, again, important to view the Children of the Watch through that lens of solidarity and community, whether or not it is a net positive on the people within, it does have that effect on the members of the Watch. And like I said, just seeing that unity, seeing that solidarity, I think was really cool decisions there. Obviously, the action, just watching these Mandalorians just cut through these pirates like a hot knife through butter.
Mando
really
Militia.
fucking cool. Huh?
Mando Militia.
The Mando Militia.
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah. It was
like
just
moving
so
through the
unfair.
streets, clearing everything.
Yeah, it was just so unfair,
good.
Like it's very much like that same effect where like the very first episode of the Clone Wars, with the whole, I hear a Jedi is worth 1,000 battle droids.
Exactly.
Like about 10 Mandalorians is worth an entire pirate crew. Which I really, really liked.
I want to see more of Vane. I love that guy.
Oh, I don't think we've seen the last of Vane.
Oh, definitely not. He fled. He
dipped.
Like I just don't want him to die. I just don't. I love that guy.
He's a lot of fun. He's absolutely a very soon to be favorite Glub Shitto here. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But no, I do. Like I said, I do want to touch on the stuff with Bo-Katan and the Armorer, because I think we're starting to get more and more context and more of an idea as to where a lot of this is going. And we see.
Also, I want to talk about real quick the fact that R5 gave up the location of the hidden covert world.
I have in my notes R5 is an unknowing snitch.
Like,
I was gonna say, do we think R5 narked, or was it just Carson Tevin went, "Oh motherfucker, there's R5"?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I
feel like
I
he was
feel
just
like R5
where's R5 at?
narked. I feel like I just feel like with what Carson said and just R5 then popping, I feel like R5 narked.
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know why, but for some reason, when he's like, "Oh yeah, there's someone in the rebellion that," or whatever the line
Among
was.
your ranks.
Yeah, among your ranks. The first person for some reason that I thought it was, are they gonna fucking show Sabine? Are we gonna get a double?
Is Sabine under deep cover with it?
Dude, I didn't even think about that. I thought maybe he was talking about Bo-Katan because she helped the rebels.
Yeah, I just was like, is it fucking Sabine? Are they just gonna
That
do
would
a
have been
double header
insane.
today? Like, oh yeah, we're gonna show fucking Zeb with probably one of the best live action translations you're gonna get, and then just bam, Natasha Leo Bordizio as Sabine. Like that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did for a split second also be I did the same exact thing where I'm like, fucking Sabine undercover? What? For her to just come through and just take off the helmet and be like,
bam,
"Hi,
here's my purple
Carson,"
hair.
And just take that shit right off. Now that like her op was over.
But also the fact that like R5 is getting more like opportunity to like go on adventures now is just really cool because like we all know R5 is the bad motivator droid from A New Hope. And so like the fact that Jon Favreau and Filoni and just all the other creatives and the story group that have worked on this show have been like, you know what? Let's give R5 a chance to do something. Let's give him something.
Yeah.
That's really
here's the thing. I think R5 is one of those elements that it's like R5's being here, I think, is one of the chief, like, oh, they're just like making their action figures smash up against each other, like that criticism. But then I will take that and I will raise you like, yeah, but like R5's doing shit.
Right.
Like we're leading into like the books and stuff like, oh, he served in the rebellion. That is only a byproduct from a certain point of view. So like that's a, so that's, I do really like that element as well. But with the Armorer, I think it's really interesting that we're finally starting to get those like moments where like the cracks are starting to form with just how sincere she is. Because we get the, in my opinion, chilling moment where she, remove your helmet. And Bo-Katan's like, fucking no.
Dude, I thought she wasn't going to.
I just got here. What's up? And that immediate, do you respect my station? That sent chills down my spine. That sincerely gave me chills because it is so. I don't want to use this word in a like. I don't want to use this word in a trivial way, but like it's a really abusive moment. Like the gaslighting involved in that, of how Bo-Katan is very aware of how secret or how seriously they take the helmet rule, for the Armorer to just very almost on a whim go, take your helmet off. Well, no, because all I've heard from you guys is how important it is that this stay on. Do you respect my position within our organization? Then remove it. That is some Keith Raniere. That is some fucking David Miscavige shit right there. That is cult shit. That is an abuse of power. That is somebody taking advantage of a power imbalance in a relationship. And for the people who are saying, oh, they're glorifying the cult, no, they are showing why people fall into cults. They are showing why it is so hard to leave them. And now, because the audience so clearly needs it spelled out, we're finally getting the moment where the armorer truly does emotionally take advantage of someone within her flock and makes up this new bullshit. That is the only way to describe it. It is new bullshit.
Yep.
With the whole, oh, she walks both ways of the Mandalore. I'm sorry, I thought there was only one way of the Mandalore a week ago.
Right.
There was only one way. You excommunicated the owner of the Darksaber.
Right.
Because he removed his helmet. Fuck do you mean? Is able to walk both ways.
Make it make some
liar.
sense.
You liar. Why the fuck you lying? Goddamn armorer. That's what's happening right now.
Also, the fact that the thing I find really interesting is we're getting all this like sort of, I don't want to say, would nuance be the right word?
Perhaps. It depends on the rest of the things you say.
Like nuanced stuff really just with like the armorer and Bo-Katan.
Oh, yeah.
This season. That's what I find really interesting.
Yeah, well, I would even go so far as to say it is Bo-Katan with the entirety of the watch. You know, like Din Djarin is this personification of like the good that can come of this worldview. And the mixed bag that the watch is, because yes, you have this fanaticism that again, Din Djarin removed his helmet once to save the life of his son and a second time to say goodbye to him. And any organization that views those acts as excommunicatable is inherently flawed and not worth your time. And it's deeply manipulative and deeply abusive. So you see that and that really dark element, but by the same token, you see how seriously the Children of the Watch take the safety of their foundlings. But even that could be a double-edged sword, you know? Even that, like, you know, oh, we must protect the children. You know, yes, the children are the most vulnerable. They should be protected. However, let's just use our real world for a moment here. Like, let's not pretend that there's not an entire massive wing of the government that every day is using their children as an excuse to ramp up transgenocide. You know, like that sword cuts both ways.
Right.
That, won't you think of the children's sword, is incredibly noble and is incredibly beautiful, but in the hands of religious zealots can be used to justify some heinous, awful shit. You know, we see the Mandalorians swoop into action to save Navarro. We see them swoop in to save Ragnar. We see them fully accept Grogu, who by all accounts, they should not want around given the fucking capital J Jedi history he has.
Right.
But they still accept him. And they accept Bo-Katan after the armorer said they should. It didn't matter that she bathed in the living waters right next to Din. She was still persona non grata until the armorer said otherwise. And I think that, again, people have been debating since the convert. Has Bo-Katan been pilled? Or is she playing the long game? And I think that we need to stop looking at it as that binary and look at it as Bo-Katan has not necessarily been pilled. She has been taken advantage of.
Yeah, well, she's also she got put in a bad situation when her castle got blown up. So like, where the fuck was she supposed to go after that?
She lost all of the people she was running with for years. She lost she lost the like last remaining vestiges of Clan Kryze and its legacy. So of course she's in a really vulnerable position where she, like Din, is absolutely in a place where she can begin to backslide into past behaviors. You know, Din was in a was in a really vulnerable place, and now he's back fully devoted to the cult again. Bo-Katan, as a youth, was a part of a radical terror organization. And with time and people around her, she was able to grow out of that and do something more noble with that. And in this vulnerability, she's begun to backslide. And she, like so many people in the real world, in those moments of supreme isolation, of supreme, being moments of being desperate, a radical group, a radical ideology, someone who is so primed to take advantage of people is going to slip in there and just put their claws in their fucking brain. And what I think is going to happen, I think that Bo-Katan is grooming, or I'm sorry, I think that the Armorer is grooming Bo-Katan to usurp Din Djarin. I think that the Armorer is recognizing, okay, Din is part of the flock again, cool, but I think that the Armorer understands that she will never get Din to pick the covert over Grogu. You know, I think that is a worst case scenario for Din personally, and I think that if you were to ask him, he wouldn't know how to answer. But if it happened, he would choose Grogu without hesitation.
Yeah,
and I think the Armorer knows that between Grogu and the covert, Din will pick Grogu, and knows that Bo-Katan is a royal, quite literally without a castle. She is somebody who has wanted nothing more than to revitalize Mandalore. They can do it now. They have a symbol to rally behind with Bo-Katan, somebody who has seen the Mythosaur. Again, the Armorer didn't want to acknowledge that Mythosaur shit until she had time to like think about it and cook, you know? And then she came out, she's like, "Oh, you walk both ways." This is textbook gaslighting. This whole like, "Oh, you're going to bring more Mandalorians to us" shit is absolutely going to then feed into the Armorer, like she did with Paz Vizsla, setting Din up.
Mm-hmm.
She set Din up in the Book of Boba Fett, and she's going to set him up again and put him up against Bo-Katan. And be like, "With only you who hath seen the Mythosaur is worthy to wield the Darksaber, and when you have it, all of Mandalore will come Mythosaur Darksaber bullshit." And the Armorer will know that the new reigning Mandalore is somebody that she can whisper in the ear of.
Right.
Like, it is deeply sinister. And I think that the people who have been saying that the cult is being glorified, I really, really do hope that post this week we're it's been made explicit enough now, because I even said, you know, back in week 2 of this show, all the way back with the Mines of Mandalore, I was like, this is really cool. I need the Armorer to be like clearly shown to be kind of a piece of shit. I need the Armorer to be a piece of shit, unapologetically, unequivocally a piece of shit. And in my interpretation, I think we're getting there. I've been ranting and raving for a minute, and if anybody else has anything to say before we get into the Moff Gideon conspiracy to wrap up this episode's Mando talk.
2 things from me. One, in the land that High Magistrate Karga decides to give the Mandalorians, he says from the flats to Bullet Canyon?
Yeah.
And Bullet Canyon, OG Boba Fett, Jeremy Bullock.
Yep.
Yeah, super cool. I thought that was a cool touch.
Big shouts out, Jeremy Bullock, rest in peace.
Absolutely. And then the other thing too, I saw people on Twitter after this episode aired that were like, "Why accept Karga's offer if you're planning on retaking Mandalore? Like, that's so stupid." Like, dog, do you not understand how long of a process that's gonna be?
Yeah.
Like that whole thing is glassed the fuck over. Like, you're gonna have to do so much to rebuild. Like,
you're going to need a base of operations for a very long time.
Do you not understand military history? Wait,
not even military history. Like, there is, right outside their front door, any number of gigantic fucking dinosaurs that keeps killing them. Even if they are only moving to Navarro for a week, that is a week sans dinosaur fights.
Right. No more saving Ragnar from a pterodactyl.
No more Mandalorians are going to get taken away by the pterodactyl dragon, nor the gigantic alligator monster fish thing in the main river water body, whatever. So,
yeah.
It's just, again, those are just one of those like trying so desperately to be smarter than the thing. You know, where it's like just let the show cook and stop trying to be smarter than the movie.
Right.
You know, it's one of those like, "Oh, well, why do the Jedi carry laser swords? Because it's fucking cooler that way, and it's mythic, and they're knights and samurai. Shut
and
the fuck up.
pirates.
Kind of too sometimes, yeah, but what do you think is going on? What do you guys think is going on with Moff Gideon? Because I'm about to go all the way in.
The frogs have taken Moff Gideon.
Huh?
The frogs have taken Moff Gideon.
Putting chemicals in the water that turn.
I got
Moff
one
Gideon
word.
gay. What?
Mandalorians. I don't know.
Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what'd you say?
Mandalorians.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Either that or like they just put
Imperial
Beskar there, or
Super
they
Commandos?
like put Beskar there to
Possibly.
be like,
Why not both?
let's frame them.
Okay, no las dos.
Okay, no, that's dos.
Why
No,
not the two?
because here's the thing. Who was the leader of the Imperial Super Commandos? Gar Saxon.
Saxon.
Who was Darth Maul's right hand during the Siege of Mandalore? Gar Saxon. So okay, this is okay. I'm gonna full screen
Essentially
myself.
one of the same.
I would say exactly one of the same, but here's my thing. I'm gonna full screen myself because I'm just gonna to use a term from the QAnon community. I'm just gonna bake for a minute, not cook. I'm gonna bake. We see that a bunch of the Mandalorians eventually go on to be part of the Imperial Super Commando program. Now, one could argue that the people who stuck with Darth Maul after he became the Mandalore and killed Pre Vizsla is that is going to be your group of the most radical Mandalorians. Because despite Darth Maul not being a traditional Mandalorian, they still followed him because he won by right of combat and hijacked Death Watch. We see Death Watch basically get their teeth kicked in during the Siege of Mandalore. And then we don't really know what happens to them, but we do know that one of their highest-ranking soldiers, Gar Saxon, goes on to become a part of the Imperial Super Commando program. I do not think it is unreasonable to maybe suspect that we have a situation where we're kind of like putting all of these super radical pilled Mandalorians through a filter, right? And all of the most radical ones are the ones who keep kind of coming out. So we take Death Watch and we pour them through the filter, and then they get funneled out till the Mandalorians of Death Watch, who stick with Maul, even though he's not a traditional Mandalorian and, killed Pre Vizsla. So we filter out the people who were loyal to Pre Vizsla more than they were loyal to, like, the ideology. Or maybe just even people like Bo-Katan who woke up after what happens between Maul and Vizsla. So you start to funnel those people out. And then you funnel out the people who maybe walk away after Death Watch's fall on Mandalore at the end of the Clone War. And then you filter out the people who fell out there and go, we are so dedicated to the restoration of Mandalore that we are going to take the side of the Galactic Empire because they are clearly the strongest force in the galaxy and therefore can help us restore Mandalore the most easily because they are the most powerful and because they have usurped the current body of government. And then you cycle that out one more step. And is it that unreasonable to say that the children of the Watch, they were descendants of the most radical part of Death Watch that stayed with Maul, are an outgrowth of both the Mandalorians and the Imperial Super Commando program, who, after seeing the Empire annihilate Mandalore, recognized that it was their weakness that was complicit in the destruction of their homeworld, and then take the side of this crazy radicalism. And maybe, just maybe, because the armor is some type of holdover from the Empire, or at least Empire adjacent, sold out the rest of the covert to begin again and let her flock be killed. I think it is incredibly suspicious that there is one lone survivor on Navarro, and it was her. Only her. Every other man, woman, and child in that covert who didn't flee died. It's her and Paz Vizsla. Those are the only two people kicking. And we didn't see Paz in the sewers on Navarro, so I can only assume that he and a bunch of the other people who helped Din and Grogu escape in Chapter 3, The Sin, bounced after that. We see Paz fly away. You know, I mean, he didn't necessarily like fly out of Navarro on his jetpack that couldn't even take him a few miles to chase the pterodactyl. Not necessarily, but it's implied he left. So I'm not sure how all of these things connect exactly, but I can start seeing the sequencing. The armorer is in bed with Moff Gideon, and I'm locking that in.
Jared is very Charlie at the whiteboard right now. And I like it.
59, 58.
What was that, Connor? I couldn't hear you over the guy just revving his motorcycle.
Yep, that's what I have to deal with because bunch of asshole, bunch of
You said 59, 58. What's that mean?
Well, it's just the timestamp for when you said
you're just locking that down.
Because like
Connor's keeping the minutes.
For when I'm right again.
Like I'm gonna be very curious for us to revisit this by season's end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm completely wrong.
They could also be framing the Mandalorians, like the Imperial remnants, to like keep themselves hidden from the New Republic or like the First Order.
Maybe.
Like, yeah, there's Beskar left behind, but like the Imperial currency was Beskar.
Well, it wasn't currency. They were paying them in Beskar. They were just like, we have a shit ton of this precious metal.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but still, if they have a shit ton of Beskar left over.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
I just
they
again
easily
like
frame the Mandos.
it is feasible that it's a
But I
frame
do
job.
like your theory.
It is plausible that it is a frame job. I am more inclined, and
because like the armor has the horns on her helmet and everything too from the Mandalorians and shit. So like,
that's what I'm saying, bro.
I don't know. Have you guys watched Supernatural?
Not much of it.
I should.
Okay, so the armor, Emily Swallow, also plays Amara in Supernatural, and she is basically like the darkness to God's light in the show. And like I didn't realize that until this season. Like she's been there the entire time. I had no idea until just recently. And then I was like, oh shit, okay, that's why her voice sounds familiar. But like she's playing the same character almost. Not the same character, but like she has like very similar things that she does, like very similar tendencies. Because in Supernatural, like Amara, like since she's like this like all powerful being, she'll just like suck Dean out of random places, and then all of a sudden he's just alone in just pure like whiteness, and it's just her that's there. And then she's just like, hey, what's up? How's it going? What about this, and this? And she'll just like the same thing you said, Jared, like whisper in his ear and like kind of like alter like his perspective on things sometimes and stuff like that. And like, I realized that it's the same person, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, oh, I've seen her do these things. I don't know if I like it here.
I can't at all relate to having some weird spiritual entity overcome the way you look at things in the world and completely influence your thoughts. I can't relate to that at all.
Noted.
Did the voice effect work?
Yes.
Okay, he's
it's
back.
so cool every time.
I was worried for a second, Jared. You kind of blacked out there.
Yeah, it was weird. Hey, unrelated, did you guys know I have auto-tune?
No. Does it auto-tune the whole stream or just
don't do this?
Just me. Hold on.
Don't. No, don't do it.
T-Pain on voice mod. Hold on.
I was about to say, let's get some T-Pain in this bitch.
It's called T-Pain.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Not again.
Turn it on and then just give me a shawty.
Shawty. No, that's not it. That's just the robot one. There's so many different ones that it's hard to parse through. Anyway, okay, I'm done now. Anyway, fantastic episode of the. Oh, and we didn't even talk about like the actual like battle with the goat pirate king Gorian Shard. Oh, I love that,
rest
man.
in peace.
I'm so upset that lettuce man got burnt to a crisp.
Lettuce man.
I hate that the lettuce man got
Oh
melted.
man. I love that
He's
everybody.
Kale Pizza the Hut.
He is.
I do. That's okay, Connor. I was about to say
He's
something about
Margarita Pizza the Hut because he's like a little bit of like basil.
little bit of spinach
Yeah.
and basil in there.
Just a little bit of basil.
I did like in all of any reviews or anything, like any videos that I watched where people talk about like the Mandalorian episodes that Gorian Shard is in, every single time someone says he looks like a mixture of Swamp Thing and Pizza the Hut, and every single time I cackle. I think it's so funny.
Like, true.
I know. Also, can we talk about like in the hologram projections? Like he looks fine, and then it cuts to like actual Gorian Shard on the ship, and it's like,
see, what
the hell is that?
I like the Pizza the Hut meets Swamp Thing. I do like that he's like the final form of old Greg as well.
You like spatchka?
Do you like spatchka? Vain.
I'm
Hurricane Gorian Shard.
Speaking of the big battle with Gorian Shard, we did not talk about
Pirate King.
Pirate King Gorian Shard. I apologize. Like High Magistrate Grief Karga.
God damn it.
Put some respect on his name.
The High Magistrate stands for motherfucking Grief Karga. What I had written was just I said I will not stop talking about how much I fucking love the N1.
Oh yeah,
dude. The way that it's like
he's above you,
okay, so
he's
like,
below you. Fuck
yeah. Yes. Like I know it's a spaceship, but like it's basically a Bond car at this point.
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
and I fucking love it, dude. It's so
truly,
good. It's like
truly.
It's so cool looking. It's so flashy with like just being 100% chrome, and like it's so fucking fast, and it sounds mean as hell. And then he'll also
it's really cool because the sound
destroy you
design
with
on the N1s from Phantom Menace already sounded cool enough, but now you have that like muscle car, like you have that same like no mixed with like the when he's flying it, it's great.
I love it, and then like the aerial action with Din and Bo-Katan and the Gauntlet, and then the N1 like that. The watching them both pilot in fights is awesome. It's so much fun.
They're so complementary to each other as well.
Yeah,
you know, like it's also again, it's a nice change of pace because like we're so used to like every time Din was in some type of naval combat, he's flying around this clunky ass Razor Crest, which like as much as I miss like having the interior of the Razor Crest, the Naboo Starfighter is so much more viable because it's a starfighter. But you know, and it's really cool because like I remember in the season premiere, bringing up Alden again, he made the comment that Din pilots that thing like a shark.
Yeah,
and like
it's a hammerhead.
But like hearing it here again in this episode, like he's above you, he's below you, and you're literally watching Din just like proton torpedo, and just like fuck somebody's day up. Oh shit, so good. I love Star Wars.
Also, one of the pirates knew the Bo-Katan ship was called the Gauntlet, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, well, that's just the type of ship. In the same way that like Din's ship was a Razor Crest, that is a Mandalorian Gauntlet fighter.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yes, the type of ship. It's not like the actual name.
Okay, I thought that was the actual name of the ship.
It is a
Gauntlet. Wasn't it? I thought I heard it classified as something else before. Previously.
I mean, it has like a longer name in the same way.
Okay,
like,
gotcha, but I get short of Gauntlet.
Yeah, but it's a Gauntlet fighter. Or it's a Gauntlet like troop transport, whatever the fuck it is. But either way, like it's, you know, and in the same way that like every Star Wars ship has like a very long, wonky technical name.
Right.
It's a fucking
like, yeah, we'll just call him Ted.
Yeah.
We'll just call him Ted. With that, moving on into our Bad Batch finale talk. Just real quick, and just everybody gonna kind of recenter ourselves, going into a heavier conversation because these 2 episodes were a lot. Reflect on Shaq T.
No.
Damn it.
Not doing it.
Open your eye, Connor.
Nope.
Okay.
We weren't even close. I was just looking away, and so from that.
I know. I'm just being a dick.
No, I get it.
Myself, and I'm taking a drink while off camera, and then Jared says, "Open your eye, Connor." Look with your special eyes.
So, who knew the heavy stuff could come in animation? I did. I'm used to this.
I just want to.
At least I thought I was.
I've cried to the last episode of Rebels multiple times. We've been there. We've done that.
I just want to say, I didn't want to be right about Sid selling out the Bad Batch. Like, the way I thought that was going to go down was so less personal. You know? Like, and obviously from Sid's perspective, that lizard sack of shit, was like, it was just business to her, obviously. But I mean, like, I didn't expect Sid to have to look them in the eyes, you know? And Sid went from your garden variety, like, Star Wars scumbag to like a new level of piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like like knowing she just sold a child to the Empire.
Knowing damn well what she just did.
Yeah. And still like blaming them for it while she's doing it. You know? And then again, not being able to look them in the eyes but still not doing anything. Like, sit damn.
Yeah,
damn.
dude. Like whenever she
Sid
she
fucking sucks.
Yeah, like she like gave Wrecker a drink or whatever. Oh, absolutely. You could right here. Where is it? There it is.
Listen, one of those people don't deserve that hate, but we'll get to that.
All right. Well, all right. Oh, yeah, no, like when she like threw Wrecker a drink or whatever, and then she like literally pulls one of these guys where she's like and like does the back and forth with just her eyes. I saw that and I was like, "You son of a bitch, what did you do?" Hated it. Hater. Terrible. Was incredibly pissed. Like, especially like you know what just happened to them.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go and be like, "Oh, hey, sorry your brother died. Go live with the Nazis now. I got $3,000 out of it."
Yeah. Well, here's the question. Did Sid wait for the batch to come back to sell them down the river? Or did she get a hold of her local Imperial garrison and went, "Hey, Clone Force 99 is operating out of my tavern. I'll let you know when they come through next." Like, if again, like, it's just those levels, like how premeditated, like, it's like whenever you talk about like somebody who makes like a really fucked up decision, you know, it's not just one decision. You had to make that choice multiple times before it was carried out, and then you kept doing it. You know, like there were multiple steps of the way where you could have stopped, wait a minute, you know, like there are multiple points. Hold up, wait a minute. There's multiple points along the way where you could have gone, "This is wrong, and I'm not going to be able to sleep at night." You know, so like, did they come through with Omega unconscious, Wrecker needing a neck brace, Hunter barely able to walk, you know, missing tech? And while they're getting all situated, she's like, "Boop, boop, boop, boop. Clone Force 99 is here. Come get him." Like, when did she make that decision, man?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hemlock was there though. Like
Yeah.
Hemlock shows up, so like, well, I mean, like she could have gone to the local Imperials or whatever first.
That's what I'm
And been
saying.
like,
And
"Hey,
they
next
send
time."
that up the chain and go, hey, like, you know, they say,
Yeah.
don't they say Omega's been out for a couple days?
I can't remember.
Like giving them like more than enough time for Hemlock and company to show up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not like it would be difficult. Ord Mantell's just as occupied as most of the core worlds, like the core and the mid rim.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like that was one of the first things I wanted to talk about. The mission itself, I was really fascinated by. You know, like the whole plan of like we're gonna go to Iriadu to set this tracker. Like I really loved all like the layers to their plan. A lot. I really liked how many steps there were to get to where we needed to go. And I thought it was a really interesting character decision that when the mission failed, there was no, we're going to find some way to find Crosshair. It was, we lost.
Yeah, they failed in the mission to help set up their actual mission.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they recognize like we're in a way over our head. Like we've already lost tech. Crosshair made his choice. We can't.
And also, I hate now the Tekken Fee scene at the beginning of the first.
Dude,
yeah,
when she did her little like, you better come back to me, I out loud went, oh no.
Yeah.
I was like,
Dude.
nah, it can't happen. No, it's not gonna happen. And then it did.
Yeah,
now,
like they're not
now
gonna
I'm
do
like,
that.
how are they gonna tell Fee, man? How's she gonna find out? This is horrible.
Yeah. But that's something that I just thought about though too. And in the theory realm, if Omega was out for a couple of days, would very out there, I think, but would Wrecker, Hunter, and Echo have been like, okay, the mission to set up the mission failed. What if we just fucking get taken in as prisoners and just fucking get ourselves out? Like, obviously, there's no guarantees there. And, like, what would they do with Omega aside from tell her to hide?
Oh,
But,
so
like,
you like that maybe they like cooked that
like
up
maybe
with
they
Sid?
told them maybe they were like, hey Sid, call the Imperials, tell them we're here, they'll take us in, and then we'll find Crosshair and bust everybody out.
That would be an interesting
Like the
turn.
ultimate suicide mission. But
It
they would
would
have had
be
to discuss it with Omega first.
Yeah, it would be an interesting turn. I don't disagree with you on that.
I don't think they did, but I think it's possible
It's possible
be
it would be
crazy enough to be
interesting.
like, all right.
I would just really hate for this like dark night of the soul of the Bad Batch to be mostly a failed bait and switch on their part. Like
Fair.
This is like this was some bleak shit.
Yeah.
And I don't, as much as I've joked about not liking tech and not being super into this show, like I'm really afraid that what I'm going to say is going to come across as like, I never liked these guys, so I'm glad horrible things are happening to them. But after a season, in my opinion, of truly appreciating the Bad Batch as the pulpy space A-team show, seeing the Empire plot devolve, not in terms of quality, but just for like the characters, so quickly, so violently, so tragically, that is the hard shit.
Yeah.
Like That is the shit I didn't realize I wanted from this show. You know, I wanted like a clone insurgency against the Galactic Empire.
Same.
And what I got was getting to see that fail.
Hurts
Which, like,
bad.
it has to fail. But, like, this small instance of trying to push back and save at least one clone. To save at least just Crosshair. Try to liberate everybody at Mount Tantus. They
But at
didn't
least
even
get
get
him
to
out.
find out. They didn't even get to find out they were going to Mount Tantus.
Right.
You know? And that cuts deep. That is tragic. That is very Empire Strikes Back. You know? But even Empire ends on an up note.
Right.
You know?
This
Even
doesn't.
Empire gets to have that, oh, don't worry, Luke, we're gonna find hand and all of that stuff, you know, and Luke getting his hand, and they were looking at that star cluster, and like everybody's like, you know, like we got our asses beat, but we're gonna be back and we're gonna get Han and we're gonna save the day and we're gonna fix all of this. Like you still get that upshot at the end with Empire Strikes Back. You don't get this here. You don't get that here.
Straight hopelessness.
You get Hunter going, we'll get her back, I promise, while he can barely stand up straight. And then you get the big twist with the doctor at Mount Tantus also being a clone.
Dude,
And
I
descended from Omega.
did not think that was going to happen.
I'm so angry I didn't talk about it on mic. I am
Like-
so angry because every time that woman spoke, I was like, she sounds so much like Omega.
Dude, I kept hearing
And
that.
I know it's
I'm
not the
like,
right. I
just
know
a
it's not the same
coincidence.
actor. I was convinced it was Michelle Ong like doing double duty because it's not like that's rare with Star Wars animation stuff.
Yeah,
I'm convinced there's at least 2 episodes of the Clone Wars that's just James Arnold Taylor. Like it is, you know, just Obi-Wan and Plo Koon go on an adventure and they face off against another guy voiced, you know, fucking Reiko Hardin or Moralo Eval. I was so angry that I didn't bring it up because it crossed my mind every time she spoke. I was like, what if that's, you know, another one? Which like, well, but like again, let's do a little deductive reasoning here. Does anybody remember the name of the other of the Omega clone? So
Emery.
Emery.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
Emery.
I
Yeah.
keep not wanting to say that because of High Republic Emery, and I'm like, that's not right. Every time Emery would speak, I'm like, it sounds someone like her, and I'm like, no. But again, like I said, a little deductive reasoning here. Emery is significantly older appearance-wise than Omega, which means whenever Omega was born, this clone had to go into production with the advanced aging.
Right.
Because we know that there are only 2 unaltered clones. Alpha, Boba Fett, and Omega. How many of these are there? So, on top of having, it's like Empire Strikes Back if the movie just ended with them scooping up Luke. Like if the movie just simply ended with them making the jump to light speed to get away from Bespin. If the movie ended there, you don't get that hopeful little montage. What you end on is Luke has been mutilated. Han Solo is captured, maybe dead. Oh, and Vader's Luke's father.
Have fun. Have a good day.
That's all. That's all. We'll see you in 2 fucking years.
Yep. It's just like it's such a hard ending.
Yeah.
And it's like like the whole season just builds to it and builds to it and builds to it and everything. And you're like, okay, cool. They're gonna go do this now, and then like you said, like the mission fails, and then it's just full stop because like obviously it's the season finale.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like it leaves you with just this like, where the hell do we go from here? Where the hell does the batch go from here? Like what is even the plan for now? There's not
I
a
mean,
number for it. I
besides
can tell you that.
rescuing Omega, like what else do they have?
Yeah.
How? But like, you're left
And
with
how do
the
they
same
get there?
question we were left with. Like here's what I really like a lot. By the time we started to realize, oh, the season finale is we got to save Crosshair from Mount Tantus. We got to break into Mount Tantus. Now the stakes are still the goal is still we need to get to Mount Tantus, but the stakes have been cranked up to 1,000 and the difficulty there with it. Because now there is no summit at Iriadu where we can plant a tracker and then reverse engineer and get to it's on this planet, it is at this facility. None of that is on the table anymore. On top of that, you're missing one of your core team members because he died on the last mission.
Right. Presumably, allegedly.
Allegedly. We don't, we'll see. But
Holding on to a small sliver of hope. Very tiny. Not looking good.
It's very much not looking good. I hope I know I've been a dick to Tech.
But you like him.
I know, listen. I know I've been a dick to Tech. I also want Richard does not care for what I have to say about Tech. I don't know if anybody could hear him just screaming from the outside of the door.
heard.
But as much as I like to take the piss out of Tech, I do also recognize how important he is to a lot of people, especially in the realm of neurodivergent and autistic coded characters. I very much am aware of how important he is to like in the pantheon of representation within Star Wars. And that is why I have tried to dial back the I fucking hate Tech jokes after the episode, I can't remember the name of it, where he really opens up to Omega and basically says like that element of his representation out loud. That's why I dialed that back, because I was like, okay, like this means a lot to a lot of people. I don't want to be somebody who's like jarring somebody's favorite character. So I will dial it back and not be a dick. And I say all of that. I want Tech to stay dead. Not because I fucking hate Tech.
Yeah, no, I know. I think I know what you're getting at. Go ahead.
We need to restore the permanence of death in Star Wars.
Yes, there's that, but there's also just that beat hurts so much. And for me, again, the guy who has talked so much shit about Tech, and back all the way at the season premiere, that I'd like to point out involved Tech almost falling to his death. When Tech seemed like he was in mortal danger, I said on this show and I said on For the Republic, oh shit, they might kill Tech. And I was like, the balls on this show, I hope they do it. Not necessarily out of malice, but just because that'd be a crazy decision to make. Well, they did it, and I hope they stand by it. Because me, the giga shit talker about Tech, I gasped. I was stunned.
I couldn't believe it. It's like I was like, when I saw him like pulling on the cord, and it's like I have to let go. I was like, no, you don't, Tech. No, you don't. No, you don't. Doesn't have to end this way.
Yeah, Plan 99. And that's the other thing, is they never tell us what it actually is. He just says Plan 99.
Clone 99, possibly.
This
Oh, it's
hurts me,
definitely
dude.
based off. I mean, there
Yeah.
being Clone
But, like, they
Force
just-
99 is an homage to him.
Yeah.
99,
but-
eh? Nice
Yeah.
touch.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're saying though, like it brings a full circle that like 99 was cemented as like a legend within the clones because he gave his life during the Battle of Camino. He died protecting his brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Plan
That's
99
protected.
is Plan 99 is a sacrifice play. And what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, like it hurts so bad. And then like you're also like it's Tech, so like he's gonna come up with some way to like get out of that situation. But like my other question though is are the like grappling hooks and stuff like are they one-time use?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I mean,
like he's hanging by the grappling hook, like you could have retracted that and fired it back out, even if you didn't attach it to the car that they were in. Attach it to like one of the giant towers you were just standing on top of, maybe.
Well, I think that's all going to be a problem of like how quickly it retracts. Like you're like at the same time while you're waiting for it to come back to you, you are in free fall.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like, who's to say that by the time it's fully back into the barrel of the blaster, you can fire that back up and you're not too far away. You also run into like a Gwen Stacy situation, not so far as like it snap his neck, but like the whiplash from it going taut could like rip it out of his hand anyway.
Right.
And the fact that the car was like starting to.
Yeah, that's the big problem is that he was weighing it down.
Well, yeah, no, but then he shoots the link between the cars to get the other car out.
Yeah.
So like if they
because he was weighing it down, the issue is that like it could not support his weight pulling on it. So once it got pulled back into the thing, it also just went so fast. Like that's why they get knocked out. Is like it goes so fast, it blasts through that wall. But yeah, it was just a really powerful decision that I desperately do not want to see be undone. But yeah, it was a lot. I also love, even though it hasn't been talked about as much as Zeb, we got one animated character in live action, and then we got a live action character in animation with my favorite Imperial officer, Director Orson Krennic. I love Krennic. Makes my heart happy because they were in the room and there was like all these like tech people within the Empire. Pardon the expression. There was all these like the advanced science people, and I see this cat in a white uniform, and I'm like, Orson, is that you, buddy? I got excited to see him.
And I think didn't Ben Mendelsohn voice him? Because I'm pretty sure I heard.
All like 3 of his lines. Like he barely speaks.
But he said Project Stardust, so that's cool.
Yeah. We got the Stardust name drop. We also just got to hear Tarkin be like, Commander Krennic. And I was like, oh yeah, there he is. Yeah. Speaking of another character who was in Rogue One with Krennic and Tarkin, Saw Gerrera. I do want to unpack this because clearly Kaysen has some feelings. So I'm gonna let Kaysen talk his shit on my boy Saw. And let you do your thing.
So it's been a minute since I've seen Rogue One. I know he's in Rogue One, right?
Yes.
Forrest Whitaker plays him. Okay, that's what I thought. I don't entirely remember what his role was in Rogue One because it's been too long. But every single time,
Saws or Krennic?
Saw.
So Saw in Rogue One basically just functioned as like the guy who was too extreme for the rebels to want to hang out with.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Which is a problem for the rebels and not Saw because they're fucking lame and Saw Gerrera rules.
Every single time that we see this dude in the animated series, he comes to do something to say Empire, and then someone else ends up being there. And they're like, hey, we're doing this because we need to get to this goal. And he's like, cool, I'm going to blow this whole place up and I don't care. See ya. and he
Well,
almost blows
okay.
up the people that we care about with it, and I hate him. I hate him.
Saw still does not have his his clarity of purpose that we hear him talk about in Andor. You know,
Yeah.
but listen, man. Look. I understand why you're angry, and some of the blame for the loss of good old Tech does fall at the feet of Saw Gerrera.
Some.
Yes, some, because it was the Empire who was trying to kill him.
Yes, but
I will give you some of the blame falls at Saw Gerrera's feet.
had the security
However,
out.
Who was trying to shoot down the
Saw
rail car
Gerrera
via wings? Empire
is one of the most influential figures in the fight against the Empire. And without him, the Rebel Alliance never gets the Death Star plans, which does not begin the chain of events that leads to the fall of the Galactic Empire. You can shit on Saw all you want. We do not have a Rebel Alliance without him, and the Rebels were also pussies for not letting him be a part of the Alliance proper either. Because I swear to God, you put Saw Gerrera on Yavin, there are Imperial heads rolling way sooner than that battle.
Okay, like that's fair.
I also just like my violent anti-fascist boy.
Yeah, and like I also like that. But like when he's like, "Hey, I'm a violent anti-fascist. We're going to blow some shit up and teach the fascists a lesson." Everybody's like, "Okay, cool." But like, could you wait like 2 hours, man? And he's like, "No, I can't." Like, brother. Okay, the other part of this specific one in the Bad Batch, okay? The other part of this. Let's say Saw Gerrera is either not there or he is there and then he decides, okay, I won't blow this place, at least not yet. Or he decides to scrap him blowing the place altogether, okay? Let's say the Batch get the tracker on Hemlock ship and everything. They track Hemlock back to Mount Tantus. They get in there. They fuck shit up. What happens if they free all the clones? Do we not think that the possibility of freeing all the clones and being like, hey, this was fucked, come back and hang out with us because we didn't do that to you? Do we not think that would have just the Empire so much faster?
I don't know if it would have
or would have helped at least.
It would have helped. It would have helped. The issue that you run into with these, like with and this isn't me like correcting you or anything. It's just part of the fun thought experiment. Yeah. The issue you run into with a lot of the like what ifs, what if blank group of people face the Empire head on sooner, is that the Empire being the Empire, it means they are going to ratchet up their level of force faster and faster and faster. You know, like
that's fair. Just tighten the grip.
Exactly, and sure, you know, as Leia says, the more you tighten your grip, the more star systems that will slip through your fingers, which is absolutely true. But you also got to remember that, like, by the time that the rebellion was like in like front facing public war against the Galactic Empire, they had started blowing fucking planets up.
Yeah, they acted too late.
You know, it was not necessarily that they acted too late. It's just that ratcheting was happening slowly but surely with all these different rebel cells. That they were like, okay, we need to get this Death Star project moving now because we need to be able to show them who's in charge. So by the time that they're able to, boom, Jeddah, boom, Scarif, boom, Alderaan, boom, Yavin 4 wipe the Rebel Alliance completely off the map. So who knows what crazy showing of force they bring about? You know, like it's kind of implied that by the end of by the beginning of the Galactic Civil War proper, like during the Battle of Yavin, you know, that like, at least to our knowledge, there aren't that many, if any, Inquisitors running around. But like, give it like a year or two from now for the Bad Batch, that's a resource they have. And sure, they really, for the most part, only send the Inquisitors specifically to deal with Jedi. But say a
They could
problem
do-
gets too out of hand, what is to stop the Emperor from being like, Vader, I want you in an army of dark Jedi because these motherfuckers won't die. Bring out the big guns, but hire the bounty hunters, bring, start glassing planets like they did the Mandalore, like, and again, it's a fun thought experiment. And I like the idea of like watching the Clone Rebellion. And I don't want to sound like I'm like pissing on your idea.
Yeah.
I don't want that to come across that way. It's just part of the fun of like, okay, well, how does the Empire react?
Right. Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, like this could be a decisive thing. Like one of my favorite things, and it's like a piece of like what if type fiction I've always wanted to write, is the idea of a Jedi rebellion.
Okay. Yeah.
What if we didn't all go into hiding? What if we all coalesced?
That would be insane.
Or
That'd be
even
so
not even
cool.
all coalesced, but like, what if we just like started making sure everybody knew what was up?
Right.
Have
Contact.
Obi-Wan and Yoda both training the twins on Alderaan at the same time. They're trying to like slowly bring all these Jedi into the fold. Hell, have them all train on Dagobah still. If you want to do the whole Dagobah was so deeply entrenched in the dark side that it masked Yoda's presence, like. Have them like in hiding wherever that you're like training up the twins to be like these, like, no pun intended, like forces of fucking nature. That like, okay, Cal Kestis, Quinlan Voss, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Master Yoda, fucking, and Kanan, like, let's say they still scoop up Ezra, Luke, Leia, trained like properly as Jedi. Like, oh, what could happen here? I don't know, man, but I sure am afraid of what could happen.
Right.
Who's to say that like them actually having the twins in one place doesn't lead to the worst case scenario where they are discovered, where they are both taken. Like it's just part of like the fun, gonna use the older word, the tapestry of like the fun what if stories you can tell.
Yeah.
But no, and I do hope that's where we're going. I do what you said. I do hope that's how the show ends. Like that has been my prayer since the beginning.
Yeah, like
that
Clone Rebellion.
This show ends with a Clone Rebellion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and it would be heartbreaking. Talked about it last week.
Because like it can't really succeed.
The best it can do is
Get a couple of them out.
The best it can do is liberate enough clones for them all to make the decision that they want to go and do their own thing.
Right.
That is the best case scenario. Canonically, we know they can't win a war.
Right.
Canonically, we know they can't go on to really bolster the ranks of any rebel cell or the alliance as a whole when it's finally unified. At best, they can win a battle or two or escape a battle or two, and then they all go all their separate ways, and Rex and Wolf and Gregor hang out and be groovy for the rest of their lives and serve in the rebellion. And like the story of the clone trooper is one of futility, of being taken advantage of, and having your choices and personhood stripped away in the name of horrible, heinous institutions. And as fun and pulpy and adventurous as this season of The Bad Batch has been, these two episodes, it was almost like having to watch Order 66 through a clone's perspective again. Like it was that level of like bleak hopelessness.
Heartbreak.
Yeah.
It's like the guys you've been rooting for the entire time. And it's just
watching them lose and fail so completely.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like it is complete. Like if it was just like, hey, we lost this battle, but like we'll come back and win the war, but it's like you've been stomped to the ground essentially at this point. Like,
yeah.
Like I said before, like where does the batch go from here? Like what even happens?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, speaking of, season 3 of The Batch, I guess, is confirmed.
What fucking hope?
Yeah, like no way they're not doing that now.
Oh man, what can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Bad Batch season 3.
No, just not happening.
Oh, just not happening? That'd be absolutely insane. But yeah, no Bad Batch season 3, The Last of Us, though, or Bad Batch season 3 Taken, where Hunter goes full Joel / Liam Neeson, or full Pedro Pascal / Liam Neeson. I'm excited to see that shit. I can tell you that.
Listen, Hemlock, I'm a man with a very particular set of skills.
Exactly.
Although it would be funnier if it were Crosshair, even though he's the one there and just.
He's the one who sounds like a Nazi.
I am a man with a very particular set of skills. Anyway.
Yeah.
Is that all we have for this one, guys? Any other thoughts?
I have one more thing written down.
Oh, please do.
Oh, I don't know if you want to full screen me on this. You might get mad at me for saying it.
No.
I said,
really.
Nala Se has officially admitted that somehow Palpatine returned is impossible before Kathleen Kennedy has. That's the tweet. That's it.
What do you mean? Explain yourself.
Hemlock says, like, he's trying to convince Nala Se to work with him, and like, because she's Kamino and she's cloning expert, but she's like, I already told you what the Emperor wants is not possible. He can't return. Nala Se admitted it before Kathleen Kennedy, and I will die on the show.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, fuck off.
This bitch.
Yeah, that's me. I'm this bitch. So like, okay, here's my question. When the Rise of Skywalker happens and that we get that scene, is any of this planned? Is any of this already in production? Is any of this already written?
Here's the thing, and this is my like with the whole.
I know. It's
like,
plot holes, and then we make shows to go back and fix them. It's just like the Clone Wars and fix the prequels. I get it. I know.
Well, I wouldn't even say that the Clone Wars fixed the prequels.
Well, not fix them, but like any holes that were there, the Clone Wars came in and they were like,
yeah,
there's a hole in the roof.
Here's my thing. For me, I have less issue. This is not going to make much sense at first.
Okay.
But I will explain what I mean. I have less issue with Palpatine coming back than I do with Palpatine coming back, if that makes sense. Like, my problem is not how Palpatine, like, survived
Palpatine
death.
returning from the dead versus Palpatine coming back in any other sort of form.
Yes. Like, it's not even necessarily that. It's so much that, like, I wish that, like, more of the story leading up to that had more to do with Palpatine, but with what we get in the Rise of Skywalker, like him using this like almost Lovecraftian like cosmic body horror of like cocktail of like Sith magic, like dark side alchemy, and like really experimental bullshit. Like, I like that. I love that. That is exactly how I like to shit on Dark Empire, like the legend story where Palpatine comes back by way of cloning and essence transfer. Between stories like the Bad Batch showing us like how much this is about a cloning effort, and books like Shadow of the Sith leaning into equal parts science and dark side magic, that's what I love. I love that it is like it almost is like this perfect encapsulation of Sidious as a character. Like, you have these technological terrors like the Death Star, but you also have somebody who is like a being who is like almost the dark side incarnate. So like everything about the hows of Sidious's return, I fucking love. It's terrifying. It's cosmic horror. It's exactly what it should be, at least for me. Do I wish that the story had more concisely leaned into the Palpatine stuff in The Force Awakens and in The Last Jedi Sure. Yeah. It would have been cooler to get more of the build up to see a dynamic between the grandson of Darth Vader and the man who helped create him. I would have loved all of that. And
Honestly,
yes, those problems are there for me necessarily, but like the somehow Palpatine returned element of it. No, fuck that. I love that shit.
the only line I think that it would have really, really helped all of this, to me at least, is the more than a clone, less than a man.
Yes.
Yeah.
That adds a lot of weight.
Hi, Richard.
Yeah. Hi, Richard.
Hi, Richard.
I was going to make a joke that Richard's like, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are going to retcon the sequels. But I was like, I'm not going to put that on him. I don't think Richard has that opinion. I don't think Richard doesn't like the sequels like that. But yeah. Any other closing thoughts before we bring this guy home?
Kind of mad that Omega didn't end up flying them out to save them after flying lessons. That's about it.
Yeah.
Really thought that she was going to have to fly them out to save the day. Yeah.
There's still
okay.
time for it. There's still time
Yeah.
for there's still time for her to do the tech maneuver.
The tech turn.
Yeah, the techio drift.
Oh, dude, when she does that, I'm gonna cry my eyes out.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bawl and I'm gonna be mad about it again, all over again.
The tech wasn't there to see her do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel so bad for Fee too.
Yeah. Wanda.
I hate this, man.
Same.
Fuck Star Wars. Why you gotta do this to me, man?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow and you never see me again. That's really what I want to do.
That's really what I want to do.
The trumpet just adds so much.
Like sad jazz in the background. It's so good.
I do want to clarify, because I feel like I need to say this, that when Alex said that on air, it did not have the music. Somebody else edited that music in. The producers at InfoWars are not that fucking funny.
I hope
maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow and you'll never see me again. That's really what I want to do. He said that, and he was having a nervous breakdown on air, as he is off to do. But he's not so funny that he gets credit for those trumpets. I think RM Brown is the name of the YouTuber who I stole that clip from, who does like a lot of like leftist commentary and reacting to alt-right shitheads being shitheads and loves to talk about Alex Jones. But yeah, I think that is all we have for you guys this week. Another double XL episode. Like I said, expect a Bad Batch focused conversation with Eli from Star Wars in a Galaxy, who I did forget one last piece of housekeeping that I'm going to do now because I feel like a dick because I said it the way I did earlier. Connor and I will both be guesting on Eli's 100th episode stream for Star Wars in a Galaxy on Sunday. So come check that out. Come support our dear friend. Very honored that he wanted to have us on. He was very clear. He's like, we want to have the people who like helped shape this show on for our 100th episode. So it's us, Meg Dowell,
and
Meg Dowell.
DeVore.
I was about to say Dowell, and I was like, is it Mick Dowell or Dowell? And completely psyched myself out.
Yeah, DeVore, who I don't think I've ever talked to before.
I don't think I have either. So very, very excited. Come check that out. And then like all the other stuff that I've plugged, and you're gonna watch the promo trailer again after I'm done talking. But Kazin, where can the lovely people find you, buddy?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter at CrayBreezy, and you can find me here pretty much weekly. Yeah, that's about it.
Shit, yeah. Connor.
Shit, yeah.
Twitter at Depa Banana, Instagram ConmanJFO. I co-host also over at For the Republic, a love letter to Star Wars animation. I haven't been on in a bit because scheduling, but we just recently wrapped up our Bad Batch and Mando talk. So go check those episodes out over on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. No, not YouTube because we don't have 100 subscribers yet. I can't remember. No, yeah, YouTube. Duh. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I forget. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can probably find us there. I write trivia questions and co-host over at Star Wars in the Galaxy Epic Confrontations. You can find all the past and present and future matches over on the Star Wars in the Galaxy YouTube channel. You can follow us over at In a Galaxy Trivia on Twitter. It's really cool. I like it a lot. You can also find me over at sweditor.ig.com/fiction. I work with a talented group of people to create fan fiction, Star Wars fan fiction, a connected universe of it. We have about 19 stories published with many more on the way. I don't have any published yet. I do have a few in the works, all of which are about Cal Kestis. I don't know the release date of some of these yet, but I got one coming out soon at some point.
Woohoo.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by seeing LeBron James saying that he refuses to pay Elon for a check mark and someone quote tweeting with clips from Martin. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon.
Give me a dollar!
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Keandre Lloyd. Kason, can you tell what's going on in that clip?
Can I tell what's going on in that clip?
Yeah.
It's when Andrew Garfield pops up, right?
Yeah. Do you see the funny part of the clip though that's happening visually? Have you
like
caught
in
it
the
yet?
theater or on the screen?
Yeah. In the theater.
I don't think so.
Okay. Watch really closely on the screen. We're gonna play
Okay.
Keandre's clip again. Watch really closely and look for the shadows that get cast onto the screen.
Okay. Who's doing backflips in the movie theater? What? I've seen that like 4 times now at least.
4 times just from you being on the show. That's not counting any time you've ever watched.
Yeah,
Oh, that's why we use it on the StreamYard. It is labeled theater backflip.
No flip.
No flip. I gotta edit a version of it. This no flip. And to our other $10 patron, Paco, or as he's going by on our Patreon, $1.5 billion, baby.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
Because I can't help myself, in the wake of the Trump indictment, I decided today was a good day to watch InfoWars.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
It was incredibly boring, actually.
Oh.
Which is disappointed. Which was disappointing when you have like Alex Jones, Roger Stone, Alan Dershowitz, what's his Robert media star Robert Barnes, good old Bobby Barnes. You would have thought it would have been a better show. But the highlight for me was right after I turned on the stream on band.video. They like immediately went to commercial. There are way more commercials on InfoWars than you think there are. I don't know how many you think there are on a normal episode of the Alex Jones show, but there's a lot fucking more than you think there are. And one of the first commercials was for like a CBD dick pill. And like it was like an infomercial ad where like Alex is like talking to this doctor who's like helping hawk his like CBD dick pills, and this lady's just like, she's super laid back, and she's like, and then like, they're just talking about, like take this pill and increase your libido, like the normal shit you hear in like a Viagra commercial,
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is standard territory for a dick pill commercial. I'm not gonna come down too hard on you. And then this like super laid back lady's like, and like you live a natural life and they're not letting them pump you full of them toxins. Exodus says you live 120 years, and like my husband, he was 20 years older than me, and I'm 60. He was 80. He was smiling, laughing. He was as healthy as he's ever been until he was murdered by COVID. He was murdered by what they call COVID. And then just glazed right past that and just kept moving forward. This lady was like in the middle of a dick pill commercial and was like, they killed my husband with COVID. It was a bioweapon, and then just moved right past it. And I was like, that's what I fucking come to InfoWars for. God damn, that was good. Good in the way where like you get entertained by weird. Anyway, the rematch is on April 10th, and I'm going to stop talking before I get canceled. Thank you for joining us. We're honored you have joined us, and may the force be with you always.
On which planet did
I
Luke
can tell
Skywalker
you everything
and Ben Solo
about this planet,
confront the Knights of Ren in
except
the
its
second
motherfucking name.
Buy merch. Your winner by way of technical knockout.
We have some beautiful
I am the king. I am the reigning champion. I will always be above you. I am bigger than you. I am wiser than you. I am stronger than you. I am better than you. I am God.
Hi, I'm Jared, the Trivia Loser Jedi.
And I'm Scooter.
And we're here to tell you that we aren't that great at trivia, and I mean we're downright poo-poo at it. Ever since then I've been dogging Scotty to step back in the ring with me. No questions about El Frono will be asked, and it'll be a good time this April. Now I have this like imaginary rivalry with you in my fucking head where it's like, I want J-Ro!
Jared, you lost to me in trivia. You're a loser. You're a loser. I will not. You lost to me in trivia.
Jared lost to me in trivia. That charlatan friend, mind you, who has been ducking me and running from me for years now.
Your lust for J-Ro will destroy you.
And you will learn to rue the day you underestimated the power of the Bi Republic.
Is this your king? Is this your king?
Think about the things you applied to content creating and the things that you maybe have held you hold to a high standard that people also love, and there's that one little dark spot in all of this, and you're like, man, I can't believe that I've gotten this far and just being a part of a bigger community, but there's this one little black spot in this beautiful Monet of a painting, and it's just the fact that I kicked your ass in trivia. Literally nothing makes me happier.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.